Hello, and welcome back to another 9th Age battle report from the Warlock's Tower. So today I'm playing McCrae and with his Sylvan elves. He normally plays dwarfs, but in his own words, he wins too often with dwarfs. So here he is with a pretty mixed arms, pretty fighty, with a little bit of shooting Sylvan elves list. So the deployment is what would be battle line, and the objective is to get scoring units into the opposition's deployment zone, so the last 12 inches of the board. So what we start with are 10 Briar Maidens over on my right, 15 Spear Elves, 3 Kestrels with a treeman. So that's the fighty treeman behind there, not the character treeman. Another 15 spearmen with 10 archers behind, 10 archers with a BSB with Ring of Fire, 6 briars, so the mini treeman, and dryads with a level 2 in there with the -1 to hit in combat spell, and yeah, so they're pretty choppy too. And then over on his other flank, we have another unit of Kestrels and a Lord. He is strength 7. He is frenzied. He's on a horse. So he is pretty choppy, generally hitting on 2s, wounding on 2s. So yeah, pretty nasty guy there. So basically what happened was I dropped 2 units of Pistoliers, and then I dropped my whole army to go first. So I'm using my Empire of Sonstahl. So I was pretty keen to just start whittling him down with some shooting early doors. So I've got a fire mage as well. So that's my big intention. So I dropped early and chose to go first. Yeah, really changed the deployment. So basically I dropped left, and that meant that McCrae dropped on the right. I presumed, because he's generally a fairly aggressive player, that he would go opposite me, but he was really scared of my fire magic, so that pushed him hard to his right. So my deployment is that I've got a unit of 5 knights out on my right, the steam tank next to those guys, the yeomen from Bretonia represent Pistoliers, so got 2 5s of those either side of my lightning cannon, represents a mortar. Then I've got 3 young griffins, nice sun griffin in front of that, a unit of 12 electoral cav, so both units are upgraded. On the right, the yellow knight is my BSB. He has MR1. On the other side of that, with the red cape, is my general. He has strength 5 attacks, lightning reflexes, so he's pretty good. Another mortar, then 25 bowmen. On the left of those is my level 4, as was, but he doesn't have the book to add +1 to his casting. He has a dispel scroll, and then a knight with the 5 aim gem. He has the axe of battle, so again 6 attacks, so that's pretty good. And he is mounted on a peg, surprisingly. And he also has the lucky shield, so he's pretty good. And then 10 just native state militia, just as a bunker with the musician. So both units just have a musician and champion in those. So yeah. So we get straight into turn 1. Oh, before turn 1 even. McCrae vanguards up his Kestrels, and vanguards back his Kestrels. So he's basically just keeping out of fireball range, but that's all good. So I push forward with my steam tank. Plan number 1 with the steam tank is just to start chipping wounds off of the thicket beasts, and I'm really happy with that. McCrae being clever, he positioned the Kestrels so that I couldn't charge them, but he could charge me, so I just moved backwards. The Pistoliers moved forward, hoping to act as chaff against the thicket beasts, and the young griffins did the same. I'm pretty worried about the Lord running right on my left flank, so the whole unit of knights swings left to deal with those. I'm actually reasonably happy on the right. I mean, the treeman fights, the thicket beats fight, but if I can deal with those somehow, whether that's just chaffing them up or actually kill them, then the whole right flank is not that choppy. So the steam tank and the demigriffs could hold him up and actually do a lot of damage to him. And I'm aware that sending an entire unit of knights and 2 characters over to deal with his 1 character seems crazy, but it's also protecting my unit of archers and my wizards. So it's a bit of an odd decision, but it feels like the right decision. And then I push forward with my archers just to be able to fireball into his Lord. Just trying. He's got a 1-up rerollable as well, but everyone knows that you can fail those, so it might happen. So I was okay with that. The other one, I failed to hit his thicket beasts with my cannon. He then shoots off 2 of my yeomen. Actually, that's a lie. So yeah, so I push forward. I do no wounds with my magic phase, and I think I'm going to be pretty limited. In hindsight, I should have just done a 36-inch fireball into the kestrels and just chipped a couple of wounds off rather than wasting dice into the Lord. I hit his BSB's unit with the other mortar and take 5 off the back, so that was pretty good. They passed their panic test, unsurprisingly, with the BSB in the unit. The other one takes a wound off itself with a misfire. I push forward with my peg. If he wants to charge me, I'm okay with that. Even if I charge down a hill 3 ranks into him, challenging my champion, I might be able to push him off the back of the board. His thicket beasts push forward. I know they're stubborn in the wood, so I'm not very keen to charge them there. The plan was to put the pistoliers in 1 pistolier so that they have to come out of the wood and then charge him with the steam tank. But yeah, he seems okay with that. I don't know if he thought that through, but I've then got the demigriffs and the stank going in, and I think they do a number. I think at this point he's underrated the steam tank, so we shall see. So unfortunately, though, he fireballs with the ring the unit of yeomen, and they panic and flee. So that's not happening, which does change the game plan somewhat. I continue to back off with my knights on the right. I'm not keen to get charged by either the Briar Maidens or the Kestrels. But I'm happy that they're kind of chasing those 5 knights. The 5 knights are reasonably cheap. They're core troops. They're nothing really, so I'm okay with that. The pistoliers push forward through between the units, again to act as chaff, hold up those thicket beasts. Unfortunately, I failed a dangerous train test. As soon as I realised that the Lord is frenzy, I put the peg knight to force him to either, if he charges me, he's going to overrun and potentially get countercharged by my knights, which I think should go very well. 1-up rerollable or not, I've got a lot of combat res there, and that should do it. And even putting in the little guys into the flank would do a pretty good job. Next, a great moment. I missed with 1 mortar into the Briar Maidens. The other one hits though and does a job. But 5 wounds was pretty lucky, but yeah, I'll take it. So they passed their panic test, but yeah, that was I passed their panic test on the Gleaming Pennant, so that was good. The steam tank misses, even though it stood still and is at close range. Not ideal. And then it gets charged by the thicket beasts. Now I'm unbreakable at this point, and I've got the demigriffs needing 5 on the dice to charge them in the flank. So I'm okay with this. Even if I take a couple of wounds now, I'm more than fine. Treeman pushes forward to threaten the steam tank and just to move through as well. The Briar Maidens come round out of charge arc of the knights, and there's no way I'm charging those spear elves in a wood. That's suicide. The Lord moves round, sneaks in behind the flank of the state militia. Again, he's reluctant to get charged down a hill by the peasants. The knights, although it looks like they can on this picture, they can't see. So that's all good. I'm kind of happy with this. I mean, it's a big Mexican standoff, and obviously points-wise it's well in his favour, but I don't mind it. He's very happy to have my wizard tied up doing not a lot. He's very scared of my fire magic, but I'm okay. So in the middle, the combat ends up. He was a little bit unlucky. I saved both my saves, and he took 2 wounds. So, I also scrolled in the previous magic phase. He was going to make them cold-blooded, old school, extra d6 for the break test and -1 to hit. So obviously that doesn't matter with the steam tank, but it really matters with the demigryphs going in. So I scrolled that, and he got no spells off that turn. So yeah, he's pretty shaky at this point. He wasn't very happy, and the demigryphs make their charge as you'd expect, and they make a real mess of the thicket beast. So between the stank and the demigryphs, I take off 3 for the 3 models for the return of 1 wound, and then they break, and I failed to catch them, which was somewhat disappointing. So I turn to face with my state militia, and I turn so I can magic into the kestrels. So I should have done a long time ago, to be honest, with my block of archers, and the knights pushed around the corner a little bit. My pistoliers got shot up pretty bad and magicked, and so they snuck in just to be able to pop a shot into the kestrels and to make them make a march block test. They're out of BSB, so that would make a difference. So I was really quite disappointed to not catch the thicket beast. I mean, Swift Stride versus not Swift Stride, it should go quite well, but such is life. They bounce through the archers and end up in the trees, so they're going to be difficult points to get. If they don't rally, that's great. They're well out of BSB range, and then they're going to get a charge in the rear from the knights. But yeah, that's unfortunate. A lot of points getting away, and also because I elected to pursue them, it opens up my flank to the spear elves, which I just think is going to go incredibly badly. So the spear elves make their charge into the flank. The Lord elects to charge into the state militia. He didn't fail his frenzy chest. He chose to charge. So at this point, I think I'm on a win here. The guy's got 7 attacks. The horse has 2. He thinks I'm going to elect to challenge with my champion, and therefore he's going to break me next turn. But what I'm intending to do is not to challenge with the champion, not be steadfast, and break with those guys. Get run down, yeah, fine, but that's like a 100-point unit or something. If he rolls an 8, his nose points out into my charge zone for my knights, which will give me charge flank with the knights and probably charge front with the knights and then charge flank with the Pegasus, which would be excellent. And then obviously 2 goes at running him off the table. So I'm kind of really happy with this position. He's hitting on 2s, wounding on 2s. So yeah, I think that should go real well. The Kestrels push forward, obviously threatening 2 mortars, but putting them in the line of fire for the bowmen. His Briar Maidens, he was hoping would take off a couple of knights, and then he was happy to take the charge, but he didn't do any wounds. So he's going to get a big charge from those guys. So he rolled really well with his spear elves. He killed 2 young griffins, and then broke them, obviously, and ran them down. So he manages to catch me with non-Swift Stride versus Swift Stride, and I failed to catch him with it. So sometimes them's the breaks. He stops in an inch away from the tank because it wasn't going to hit it, and it was going to go within an inch. It stops just short. Yeah, so he fluffs several of his attacks and leaves the unit steadfast, unfortunately, and they make their save. So unfortunately that little plan didn't work out and leaves me with a difficult decision. So I charge with my knights into the Briar Maidens. I'm pretty hopeful that will go well. The steam tank, although it's facing the wrong way, has charged in. It's just the cannon, they're one of my favourite models with them. So yeah, that should go pretty well. And so I've weighed it up. I can put my unit of knights just over 12 inches away. I can challenge with my champion, so he should win combat by a little bit, and I should hold. And that basically means then that I will get out of the way for myself to go in and finish off the Lord. So the unit of knights charge. He's strength 7 with 6 or 7 attacks, but to my mind, I'm challenged with my Lord. He has a 1-up save and a 4-up regen. I think he should stay alive. Well, he should stay alive, and that means that basically he's got charge, a rank, a standard, a battle standard, and possibly a flank coming in. So if I don't break him on the first turn, I think I should break him on subsequent turns. And then obviously he's on the board edge with Swift Stride. So I was really happy about this situation. And then what happens, he leaves me 7 on a reroll with both the peg and the, so just within 12, 7 on a reroll with the peg and the guys, the state militia. And what happens, I fail all 4. Now I'm going to work out the stats and flash it on the screen for you, but that is very unlucky. You're over 50% likely to make one of those rolls. To make none of 4, I was pretty gutted. So that allows the the general to his lord to overrun. It's his turn next. Obviously, he can either move out of the way, he can come around and threaten my troops. Massive swing. So yeah, a little bit disappointing on that one. The charge with the steam tank. Now it turns out just made an error. We did the grind attacks and the impact hits, but apparently got to choose one or the other. I didn't even know that rule. I only rolled a 1 for the impact hits anyway, but broke him. He ran. Obviously, the steam tank can't pursue, so I'm just stuck there. But it's moved a scoring unit away from my deployment zone, so I'm reasonably happy with that. My knights have overrun off the table. I could have reformed and taken the charge from the treekin and the spears, but I decided that was better off not. The Briar Maidens on the right there obviously are dead. They were auto running off the board. The treeman failed a charge towards my mortar, which failed its terror test, so it can't shoot next turn. His lord whizzed round behind the hill and threatened my mages unit and the mortar. The steam tank charges again. This again after the game led to an interesting discussion. Now, obviously, as a random mover, I don't take dangerous terrain for moving through woods. But when I contact, or if I'm going to contact an enemy, that becomes a charge. So then is it a declared charge and I take dangerous terrain test? So again, comment below. Let me know your thoughts on that one, because yeah, generally speaking, 9th Age has got pretty solid the way its rules are written. So let me know. I think McCrow was almost upset with his own success when the thicket beasts, which he talked about before the game, understandably, did no wounds to the steam tank, and then the spear elves with their killing blow pop 3 wounds onto the steam tank, which then brings it down to less effective with its stats. He was actually a bit upset that these spear elves were so successful, ironically. At this point, yeah, as Crow rightly said, I made a mistake. So, but at this moment, I moved the archers off the hill. I did consider moving the mortar off the hill, but he's got a scoring unit with like 6 models in my deployment zone. The knights are bound to get into his scoring zone. My archers can't. So at this point, we've got a drawn scenario on that. So I think one shot with the mortar. Obviously, the mortar that's failed its panic test can't fire, so I've got a good chance of getting a panic test, if nothing else, on his scoring unit. So, and I'm pretty sure I can stop the archers and the spear elves in the centre with the steam tank getting in there. So I think it's worth the risk. Worth the lost points of the mortar, I should say. So, and there's also, if I whittle the archers down, then they're less likely to kill my knights as well. So that happens, as he points out. This is a bit of a mistake because he charges my mortar, gives him a 7 overrun into the back of my state militia with bows and my wizard. his Kestrels failed a lot of long charges, but they failed again to go into the flank of the steam tank. He wasn't aiming to kill it, but he was aiming to hold it in place so that he could move past with his archers. Yet his 4 archers start moving forward to try and take the objective, the secondary objective. Obviously now his lord's in the back of my archers. I mean, they'd have no hope of making it there if I could shoot and magic them, but now I'm locked in combat, that's not going to happen. Yeah, the lord goes in the back. The treeman turns around to threaten my steam tank, and the thicket beasts and the spear elves move forward to trap my knights as they move back on. I, again, as we say, would have been key to, we didn't even think of it till after the game. I charged through the wood into his unit of archers, moved forward with my knights into his deployment zone while moving my general and BSB out to give a re-roll to the steadfast state militia at the back there. So the treeman charges the steam tank in the rear. The champion dutifully steps up, gets his head chopped off, and I turn around my unit past my leadership 8, 9 on a reroll, so that's pretty solid. Mortar has a pot shot and misses at the spear elves that matter, the ones that are going to hold the objective, move off the table and complete that. I left 1 spear elf in the other unit alive after I shot with my mortar. So ended up with my steam tank going below 50% wounds, my state militia hanging on in there, but a really entertaining game. It was massive swings. If I'd caught the briar thickets with my unit, that would have changed the game. If I think even if I'd escaped with my 1 demigriff, young griffin, it wouldn't have changed the game that much. But I think trapping his lord would have changed how things worked. It would have freed up my archers in the middle to just stand and shoot with their bows, and my fire magic, obviously alchemy magic into the pyromancy magic into the middle of the table. Yeah, so it was an interesting game. As I say, comment below whether you think a random mover going through dangerous terrain takes dangerous terrain tests if they effectively declare a charge. That'd be really interesting to know. But yeah, the big swings in that game, some because of dice, some because of mistakes from both of us. As I said, not moving my mortar off the hill was a big mistake. Leaving his briar maidens in charge arc and assuming they'd kill a couple of knights was a big mistake. But a really fun game. It ended up, we drew the secondary objective and he won on points 12-8. So yeah, a great game, good opponent. I'm looking forward to him playing against him with his dwarfs because they're meant to be filthy. So that's always fun to put yourself into a challenge like that. So subscribe to the channel, like this report please, and check out 40k and 9th Age reports from the Warlock's Tower. Thanks again. Bye.